England. England looking for early sweeper setups, just losing control of the ball potentially. That one was bobbling for a moment. Sam Dean getting away with it. There's Dean scooping. Looking to drop a lovely pass off to Sophia Lawton. But Lawton couldn't quite take that one with her, but there's the early stanza from England. They're setting their stall out early. That's how they're going to want to pick Scotland apart. Yeah, that was a fantastic start from them. Very dominant, very intense, really good to see. Scotland are going to want to replicate that themselves now. Fortunately, turnover ball, so England are going to get another shot at the line here. Yeah, turnover. This is a dangerous looking pod, actually. Adam Will, the big link, lingering in a dangerous area. There's Sam Dean stepping, leaving players on the floor. Finley Robertson is losing his footing. Fantastic covering touch from Lee there. He did really well. As his mid went down, he was there to make the touch. Here's Dean, late pass away. Great shot from the link, although refs have given ball down. Early score for England. There's the opener, 1-0. That's a beauty of a score. It is, yeah. I mean, you try something once and it doesn't work, go the other way, and it was executed perfectly from the England squad there. Not much Scotland could do to defend that. Really, really nice score. I am right in saying that there's a lot of the mixed 20s here who represented Scotland in the mixed open, right? There's a few names that are starting to become a little bit familiar. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more of a crossover now, I'd say, from the junior academy, which is so reflective of the standard that they're performing at, that hopefully we'll get to see here. Absolutely. I think there was a call for 6 more, but an optimistic call, I feel. You also can't play the ball with your knee, so there's your first infringement. Got to go for it though, haven't you? Got to try these things. You've got to appeal for everything. If you don't ask, you don't get. But what Scotland do get is a fresh set of 6 on the England 10. Owen Black with an opportunity to create scoring chances for Scotland, working alongside Finley Williamson. And there's Williamson and Black and Reid. Unfortunately, that one just dropping to the floor. A little bit of just a lapse of concentration there. Yeah, it's just looking a little bit scrappy from Scotland. I mean, it's both of their first matches, I believe, so they'll be really just trying to find their feet here and set a strong ground. Yeah, Dean with a really good platform. Sam Dean is positioning himself for a scoop, right foot step, accelerating through Black. Lovely hole off the ball. How good is that from Evie Groves? It's just the stunning line, out in, back against the grain. Sam Dean has the pace and the ability to put it on a plate, and Groves, well, she was in the perfect place. She just had oodles of space there, didn't she? She could have held that ball for a good 4 seconds before a defender was on her. It was really, really, really well placed from everyone in that squad. Could have just had a cup of tea. She really could have. Just take a relax, take a moment. English, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Put the kettle on. Yeah, couldn't be the iron brew. There's this nice splitter platform, well rescued. And moving into 32 short territory. There is the short, looking for the release. Dummying, left foot step. Sophia Lawton with a good defensive touch. Liking the look of number 16, Michael Sheriff. A right-handed pill into the far corner. Killing the ball in a good area. And you know a couple of these players, don't you? You're a little bit familiar with some of these mixed 20s. Michael Sheriff seems to have a little bit about him. Yeah, I'd definitely say so. He seems to be able to read what's ahead of him and get himself out of a tough situation. With that long ball ability, it's so important in a mixed game like this. And he's got that down really, really well. And it was well taken by the winger too. So as they're starting to find their feet, hopefully they'll be able to get a bit of an edge on England here. It was a good defensive shot there. Really great read from Scotland, just identifying where England were trying to create scoring opportunities. That'll just be a loss of control. Bobbly roll ball, turnover for England. I really like the level of physicality that's coming from both sides of the ball at the moment. Yep. Both England and Scotland in defence trying to put a little bit of a nudge on. I think it's both teams are giving as good as they get, and the referees are setting some nice standards of the physicality. You know, it's called touch, but it's not a non-contact sport. McGilvray having a go, late step away, speculative pass, just needed some extra yards on it. There's a nice chat from Rory Hawkins in the box saying that's where the hole is. The hole's there. He's right. It's just that England just missing that final bit of percentage to get it over the line.
Yeah, Scotland, unfortunately, that dummy play doesn't seem to be working particularly well for them there. That's the second time that hasn't quite gone to plan, but hopefully by the end of the game they'll have got that nailed.
Yeah, open side quickie, Link still offside. That's a brilliant score. That is well identified where the scoring opportunities were. Ben Simmons getting over for the try. Unfortunately, the Scottish link, I think it was number 12, Aaron Lee, wanted to get up and disrupt that roll ball, but ended up just overcommitting a little bit too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of England's charm here. They're very good at manipulating the defence and getting them exactly where they want to be in order to go the other way. So it would just be seeing how Scotland can read that and try and communicate with each other to get that, just the basic of the corner shut. The beauty of that is it does work so well, so they just need to get that nailed.
Absolutely. 3-0 now for England. Scotland yet to get on the board, but they're looking to do so in this set. Black on the out. There is Black. She needs to rip long. Unfortunately for me, that winger is just a little bit too flat. There's a little bit more depth on the play there, then things start to look really dangerous. But it's good endeavour, and Scotland have certainly identified where the scoring opportunities will be. That ball looks to have gone forward. Referees are happy with it. England get away with one and then get up to halfway.
That was a beautiful midfield pill there, and a fantastic latch play about to happen here. Really good platform set up. One thing I've been so impressed with is the pace of both of these squads, as we're seeing here.
Yeah, it's a good time to call it because it's carving through the Scottish defence. Josh Bradford just shifted through the gears oh so effectively, and we're at 4-0 now. And England has certainly started this game with a fair bit of authority. They
really have. I mean, as I was saying, they've got so much pace, but as both teams do, it's just who can manage it the best, because that pace is transferring into some of the passes, which is making Scotland perhaps look a little bit scrappy because they're unable to execute from the sheer force of these passes, whereas England are able to maintain it a little bit more. So I think that is perhaps the difference here. If they can just manage it and keep it cool, then they'll be on for a winner.
Absolutely. And as we said earlier, that 4-try buffer is quite an important one. England have achieved that. In that 6 minutes, there's a nice left foot step from Sheriff. That was played out, be given 6 more. In fact, it'll be a penalty. First set of 6 here for Scotland. They'll need to do something with this possession.
Lovely sweeper platform set up there. Well read by England.
It's really dominant defensive work there. Although, offside penalty, another Scottish opportunity. It's Forge.
They're really not going to want to concede any more penalties, England, here, otherwise they will be in trouble.
There's Black and Sheriff look to potentially go down the link channel. Now, there look to be an opportunity to just run sweeper. But Forge has to come back against the grain. A very set English defence. They'll be looking to get this 4-try deficit back down to 3. Currently 4-0 to England. Black checking away to Sheriff. Sheriff driving. Great defensive touch. Sophia Lawton getting involved. Working with Ben Simmons.
It is so easy to panic a little bit at this stage when you're facing such a strong line defence. It's really difficult to set up to what they're doing, but Scotland are actually adapting as these sets go on, and we're seeing them play to what is in front of them.
Oh, lovely delay, Sheriff. What a wonderful pass that is. Just the double pump, fixing defenders, getting behind the press. And Black with a great line, gets on the board, 4-1. Scotland really needed that to give themselves a foothold in this game. 9 minutes in, 4-1 in favour of England.
He had a real Moses moment there, didn't he? The gap just opened up for him. Beautiful, lovely to see.
Absolutely. However, this is the pod that has unpicked the Scottish lock one too many times. There's Dean. Dean dropping a late pass off. Great defensive work. There's George Murdoch. He's been trapped in his defensive work. Nice right-hand pill. And great hands as well.
That was a very convincing touch from the winger there, because it looked as if the winger who caught the ball was going to go in, but she wasn't having any of it. That was fantastic.
That's so very true. However, off the mark penalty, I believe.
Yeah, it's just little things like that that Scotland are really going to want to hash out in this game, ready for their next one, because it's little mistakes that they know they're better than, and they won't want to concede from that.
Yeah, open side quickie. Just asking questions of the referees and getting the answers that they wanted. Ben McGuinness getting over for the 5th score. Asked the question, was he onside, sir? The referee said no. 5-1 for England. Looking pretty comfortable at this stage.
Yeah, they really are. They're doing so well at just reading what's in front of them and taking the Scottish defence every which way, and they just don't have an answer for it. It's looking really nice from England.
They're a really well-drilled team. There's Black. Hammer play. And Rory Hawkins with those telescopic arms, a ridiculous reach. Swipes the back of the shirt, brings up another touch count. There's 5th, 32 short opportunity here. Black, late release, try time, maybe. And it is. These little disguised passes are causing England all sorts of problems.
They really are. That was a beautiful crash line from Williamson there as well. He was in the right place at the right time. Lovely little evasion of the touch. Really nice. Scotland are going to need that.
And 5-2. 3 scores the deficit now.
Yeah, it's still anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, and some probably just some warning signs for England to take heed. And Scotland have found a lot of success punishing the unfortunately for England, where the one place they won't want to be conceding any scores, that middle channel. Those two middle potentially just splitting a little bit too wide. This early turnover in the English set. We have Scotland a platform to maybe get some fresh legs on the field. I'm always a big fan in these circumstances of just going direct and trying to use as much of the ball as humanly possible. What we've seen here is this is 5th coming.
Looking a little congested there, the Scottish side. They're really going to want to try and spread out the England defence.
Yeah, the late passes away just not quite happening for Scotland on that occasion. It's been how they found a lot of their success up until this point, but unfortunately not this time.
That is the strength of the England team though, isn't it? They're able to read this and adapt their defensive mechanisms to defend it really, really well, and I don't know how much longer Scotland are going to be able to get away with it for.
Agreed. Well, if England keep coughing up possession in the midfield, Scotland will have plenty more opportunities to get scores on the board for themselves. The second touch coming. And I think this pod is now going direct, but just needs a little bit more go forward. There's 3.
Do with a bit of momentum on the strike dumps here. I think they'd really benefit from that.
This is 5th coming now. Sweeper set up.
No touch made. See what they can do with this.
Oh, lovely skip pass out to the wing. Not quite taken.
It's a fantastic pill from Murdoch there.
And Lucy Gribbin was over on that far side waiting for the ball. The ball came, but there was a fair bit of defensive pressure that was probably just in the eye line of Gribbin. That's great footwork from this near side wing. And lovely hands, and the interplay between England at the moment is something really quite impressive. It was Esme Ashley with a really nice left foot step initially to create the momentum, and if they get a score from this, they'll be thanking Esme for her work. There's Rory Hawkins. 5th coming, open side quickie for Hawkins. Hawkins, left foot step, driving at the line. And unfortunately for Scotland, George Murdoch couldn't help himself but have a go at that ball. A fresh set of 6 here for England.
There was some great defensive footwork from Scotland in that set though. They want to keep that up as much as they can.
Rory Hawkins, left foot step, stepping back against the grain, driving at the line. And I think the referees come to the right conclusion. Unfortunately, Finlay Robertson had never quite made it onside, and Rory Hawkins is so big he could dive from the 7-metre line. The picture was painted, the referee bought it at 6-2 to England.
Yeah, it's definitely looking quite convincing, but Scotland are improving as this match is going on. We can see it in real time, so they just need to keep up that level and really try and give England a run.
Yeah, they're going to need to just... Yeah, it's not exactly similar to the Irish situation that they found themselves in, but it feels somewhat akin to it. You set yourself these little tasks and see what happens. Put yourself in good positions as Black looks to go hard at the line. His 5th touch. I think the other thing that would be quite interesting as well from a Scottish perspective, I do wonder if you'd agree with me, is stop striking hard on 4.
Yeah.
Sounds really strange, but your 4 is your setup touch. Your 4, you want to create as much separation as humanly possible, so then when 5th touch comes, you can strike against a defensive unit that is entirely offside. Whereas what Scotland are finding themselves in is they're striking really hard on 4th touch against a very set defence, where England are all onside bar 1 or 2 players who are making the touch. And then 5th, they're striking against completely set defence, and they're just not really utilising the positions that they find themselves in. These turnovers are a really good example of it. You find yourself with a fresh set of 6 on England's 10-metre line. You've got, you want to take 2 touches max and then give yourself some strikes. And what we're seeing is Scotland maybe making the pitch feel really small for themselves.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that's possibly what's making them look a little bit scrappy as well, is they're a bit flustered when it comes to that 5th touch then, and they don't really have any grounds to do anything with it. So if they can just get that setup right and then really hit the strike hard on 5th, that will be a much harder thing to defend for England.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, that one just goes to floor. It was a nicer looking attacking set from Scotland.
Yeah, much more composed than we've seen them so far, which is what we want to see, because it's finding the balance between pace and momentum and composure. And I think that is what is the margin here between England and Scotland, is England are more composed and they can use that momentum more accurately. Oh,
lovely late pass away. There's scoring opportunities on the outside edge. Foot race to the corner. It comes up Scottish. There's 5th touch over on the far side. There's a bit of jouet in need from England. There's Rory Hawkins, who's no stranger to it. Blind flick pass back on the inside. Try time. That is diabolical from Rory Hawkins, who looked to his left. Blind flick pass to his right and strolls over to Sophia Lawton. And Sophia almost just goes, oh, you know that was good. Let's get off the pitch.
What can you even do against that? There's nothing. I mean, even as an England player, I wouldn't know what to do with that. So they did really well. Fantastic jouet touch.
Yeah, all smiles coming into the sub-box. Rory Hawkins knows that was pretty nice. 7-2 now, the 5-try lead.
Yeah, they're starting to have fun with this, aren't they?
They are. However, Scotland, I wonder, that pass just needs to go on instinct.
That was a really nice change of direction from them, though. That's exactly what we want to see. They've really manipulated the England defence there. To no avail this time, but it is much better looking than we've seen so far from Scotland.
Yeah, I think from Scotland, the word of this half-time team talk should just be separation and just use the ball skills that you've got. There's very little drop balls coming from Scotland. They've obviously got some nice ball players in there, and England are just driving so hard, creating so much separation.
Fantastic shot from the Scottish winger there.
Absolutely. But you can see these positions that England find themselves in are all through this creating doubt in Scottish minds.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a mental game as well. You'll feel really demoralised if you're convincingly losing, so they just need to keep coming back and showing them what they're made of, because they have so much potential, this squad, and they just need to find their feet and really show them that they are here to play.
Absolutely, there's a nice drive. Unfortunately, that roll ball's just off the mark.
They'll be frustrated with that. The momentum was fantastic. It was just a little bit out of control, unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe it was Esme Ashley over on that far side wing coming up with a very stubborn defensive touch and then standing exactly where she made it and pointing to where the roll ball was made, which is it's a crew and Nantwich skill. No messing about at all. Painting a very good picture for the referees. There's Sam Dean, open side quickie, getting the ball back, left foot step, right hand check. Try time. How good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I sound like a broken record, but the manipulation of Scottish defence is textbook from England here. There's nothing they can do about it. Their hips are in the wrong place. You dive for the score. 99% of the time you're going to get it.
And then I think the really key component that blends all of that together is the speed in which they're doing it.
Yeah.
Speed kills.
It really does. I mean, there's so much that momentum does for you in this sport, and they're showing you that.
Oh, Rory Hawkins with a poacher score. Will accelerate over, score. And there was only ever one winner to that race. I mean, less said about the kick back to the middle, the better. But my word, Rory.
Spectacular read of play there.
Yeah.
He just saw that coming from a mile off. Yeah, beautiful play. Scotland won't be happy with that, but they'll get another attempt here.
No, they certainly won't be. Rory Hawkins has had a first half to remember. And that hooter does bring up the second half. I think we've spoken enough about England in that first half. So we'll focus on Scotland here. There's just a few things that could... a few tweaks that need to be made, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, they've got the foundations of a really, really strong team, and they've got some fantastic players. It is quite a fresh squad, and not a lot of them have played together before. So I think they will learn a lot from these games, and hopefully they'll only improve as the tournament goes on, because we've seen them improve so much in this game already that the only way is up for them.
I completely agree, and they probably come up against their hardest opposition in their opening game in England. At the half, England 9, Scotland 2, second half with you in about 3 minutes time.
Half time,
The second half underway, a fair bit of problem solving to do for Scotland, but they'll, if you know anything about the Scottish, it's the never say die attitude. They will keep running for the rest of these 20 minutes and take the scoring opportunities when they present themselves, and they'll be looking to start that off on their first attacking set. England, though, in defence and in the driving seat. A lovely open side quickie, looking for the sweeper, a little bit delayed and late, trying to bounce around the covering defence, brings up the 5th touch. A little bit of a timing was off on that setup.
Yeah, it wasn't quite there. England are really targeting the pocket defence here, which Scotland needs to try and do something with. But they are so convincing in line defence, it's hard not to panic. But yeah, they'll be happy with that set. It wasn't quite their best, but the ball is dead, far from the England side, so.
Yeah, Will with a late check away. Maybe could have done with just carrying that one forward. That's better foot speed. McGuinness and then Hawkins with a lovely late release. It's 4th touch, 5th coming. Hawkins, we're going to set good platforms here on 5th. Lovely scooping opportunity. Late pass away is good.
Fantastic handling skills there from England.
Yeah, I was going to call it. It seemed like the referee was happy, but there was definitely an offside player there. Didn't quite hit that 7. And this feels like it could be another score for England. Late pass back on the inside to Rory Hawkins. It's nice picking up against the grain and trying to strike back in the space from Josh Bradford. There's Bradford and Hawkins in the middles together, working alongside Evie Groves in this right-hand link. There's Hawkins. Check back to Hawkins. Hawkins with the ball down. There's a hat-trick for Rory Hawkins. It took him 2 minutes in the second half to get there. 10-2 now for England. Yeah, this is pretty good line attack, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a fantastic score, and it had other opportunities. Their link there was shouting because she was in such a big gap too. So the fact that they're setting up these scores with the opportunity for others within the same move just shows the class we're looking at here.
Absolutely. And it's the little variations that I think are really impressive as well. Rory Hawkins obviously loves this quickie setup, these quickie platforms, but he's not only going for the open side. There's the step backs, there's short side options, there's QBs. I'm sure at some point we'll see the fire up option as well. And it's really nice to see a team have an attacking structure that they can then operate 4 or 5 different striking options off the back of it.
Yeah, they're so well drilled, and they're reading it really well as well. That's exactly what Scotland will be looking for. That was lovely.
Although maybe the jolted jog back to the sub-box wasn't what they wanted, but it's a great score nonetheless. Number 7 for Scotland, Finlay Williamson, just drove through, identified scoring opportunities. It was well done from Scotland, 10-3 now. There's a fair old deficit for them to overcome, but if they keep striking like that, then they put themselves in good stead to do so. Sweeper platform here, Wilm feeding, but again, timing leaving a fair bit to be desired there on that sweeper setup.
Yeah, 100%, and I think this is, again, with carrying the momentum, they still had a lot of pace on it, but they just couldn't quite execute it. And Scotland are going to look for a quick subset here to try and get some momentum themselves.
Great hands.
Yeah, fantastic hands from Lessels there.
Yeah, we were singing her praises actually off camera earlier on, saying probably one of the best wingers about.
Yeah, so she's playing link here, but she's just come back from the Women's Open where she was a fantastic winger, top try scorer for Scotland there. So she's definitely a threat and one to be watched.
Yeah, certainly. As England roll through their subset, lovely check over to the wing, good core skills. Yeah, first touch was dangerous, second touch is in Scottish territory. This subset feels very ominous. The writing's on the wall here, and there's Hawkins who's looking to stamp his authority on the game once more. Open side quick here for Rory Hawkins. Accelerated towards the line, diving at the line, scoring. And Rory Hawkins might have got that score, but again, it starts on touches 1 and 2. It's not often you see touch 2 being taken in your opposition territory on the transition, which is a terrifying thing to try and defend. But the work of Evie Groves in touch 1 there was magical, wasn't it?
Yeah, that set the whole thing up. I mean, they were on for a winner from there. They'd left Scotland very vulnerable, and they couldn't come back from it. They just couldn't reassess. And yeah, they really used it. It was fantastic to see from England.
Absolutely, and then there's a great intervention as well from Annabelle Roberts, the winger, coming off the wing, making lots of meters for her team. Yeah, there was lots to love about that score. 32 short hit for Scotland. Lovely left-handed pill. Very flat to the line, unfortunately, though, for Niamh Matheson. Couldn't quite take it in her stride. And then the dummy. And there's a proper foot race. Does he have the pace to get over McGilvray? Only just. It was staunch work from Black coming over to try and shovel McGilvray into touch, but at the last moment, just when he thought he was about to get caught, unhooks the trailer, finds the extra yard of pace, gets over. Yeah, it was a fantastic chase from Black there. Very unlucky, but I've said it once, I'll say it again. A good dummy, you really just can't go wrong. To back it up with the pace that he's got. Yeah, there's nothing that can be done there. That was beautiful. I completely agree. And one of the things I really like about that score is Scotland had overcommitted to the transition defence and left their short side a little bit loose and hadn't quite numbered up correctly. And it takes a quite mature mind to see that and then go and execute it. And I think that's the thing that really impresses when you're talking from a youth European perspective. It's the touch IQ that's on display. A lot of these players for England have been honing their craft in the NTS and have got years of playing experience now, but that doesn't quite prepare you for coming into a European Championship. So for Ethan McGilvray to see that and put his hand up to be accounted for, that is it's a very impressive skill set. No, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, there we go. The unpredictability of the England squad. There's nothing that Scotland can do. They're just too good here. My word. I mean, you know it's good when Rory Hawkins is chuckling to himself as soon as he finishes throwing the pass. He knew that Noah Thomas was flying through that hole. There's giggles in the sub box. They are enjoying themselves out here. Yeah, England are just, they're purring, aren't they? They are. They've got the ball on a string at the moment. It's wonderful to see, but I'm really pleased to see that Scotland are not letting it defeat them. They're really coming out attacking here with all guns blazing. They still want this. They're still in this. It's a great bit of pace on display. Finlay Robertson. Yeah, the standard has not dropped at all for either of these squads. And in conditions such as this, it is incredibly hot out here. Yeah, the cloud cover has disappeared, and we are now at the mercy of the Super El Nino. Oh, right foot step. Horrible stuff. And Scotland need a little bit more of that. George Murdoch with a big step, leaving England on the floor. I will give George Murdoch a little shout out here. I play with him at Edinburgh Uni, and it's his first Scotland cap. He's captain. He's a fantastic player, and that will be exactly what Scotland want. That was a really, really beautiful play. Footwork, placement, everything was wonderful from Murdoch there. Yeah, and this second half performance from Scotland has been markedly better than their first half performance. Hats off to the coaches and undoubtedly the captain as well. Whatever they said at that half-time team talk has obviously clicked with this team. We're 8.5 minutes in to this second half. Oh, lovely touch. Was the ball down? It was. Evie Groves. That was a beautiful dive from Groves there. That was absolutely wonderful. And she fully deserves that score. You know, it is a female link. There's often a lot of thankless work that you do, operating, you know, in the subset, in the latch, the defensive work. You got to stay really tight because you know if a score goes in outside of your boy Middle's channel, he's going to be pointing at you and telling you to shut, which is almost always unfair. But that is the life of the female link in these teams, and I think Evie Groves is such a young player, playing beyond her years, playing with a lot of maturity, and really proving how valuable she is to this team. Yeah, it's fantastic. She's such a solid player, and you notice if your links aren't pulling their weight, and neither of these squads have shown that. You know, it's just amazing to see how much they're putting into it. There's a nice 32 short flash pass to the wing. No, Roberts couldn't help herself, but try and take that one in stride. It'll be all down to a strong defensive set here from England. We'll see lots of pointing and shouting. Sweeper set up here. Much better timing on the release, but potentially just carrying a little bit too wide. I'd love to see, because there's so much to like about these sweeper setups, I'd really love to see the sweeping player receive the ball square. Yeah. And strike forward first and then kick out, rather than kicking out and trying to come back in.
Yeah, absolutely. If he had have just realigned a little bit there, he started running into different channels, so it would have been either better to give that pass or realign himself. And that was beautiful.
Oh, well, I mean, Sophia Lawton has made a try-saver of a touch. But that rip that is horrible. A left-handed pill from near link to far link.
Really well taken as well. Yeah, they're really unlucky for Scotland, but they're going to be fired up after that.
Absolutely. Just come back to the same platform, fellas. It obviously works. There's a nice dummy trying to get through, but staunch work. Amy Gresham.
There's so much that Scotland can take from this. If they watch this back, they'll be able to see what's working and hopefully use it in their later games too.
Absolutely. Sweeper set up once more. In fact, they're coming for the open side quickie, but that is ball down, turnover. Good work from England. But again, a lot to like about the Scottish attack. That felt much more purposeful and intentional. And, you know, it wasn't... I don't sound mean or anything. I am a nice guy, but he wasn't striking for striking's sake.
Yes.
It was, you know, picking the right striking options, and it was probably, even though he didn't get the score, probably one of my favourite attacking sets from Scotland. They identified these middles were being a bit too busy, so then you sweep and you try and catch them napping. The theory was perfect. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. I think perhaps Scotland went into this game thinking that the only way they were going to win is with pace, which is why they're striking too early. But as the game goes on, they're seeing that perhaps that isn't working. So actually slowing it down a bit and composing yourself and setting up these wonderful plays might be the best way.
Oh my word, Murdoch has absolutely no right to get through that defensive line. It's probably the more competent English defensive pod. And yet Murdoch, with a left foot step and a right hand dummy, has left the middles chasing shadows and then connects with his supporting cast. Perfect.
What blows my mind about that is it looked like he had all the time in the world. He made it through and he could look for his options and he could pass it off, and it was beautiful. They're really, really finding their stride now.
They are, and unfortunately it has come too little too late, and the result of this game is probably a foregone conclusion with 7.5 minutes left on the clock and England getting over for another one through Sam Dean. Well, there's a lot to like. There'll be a lot of positives that Scotland will take from this second half performance, but maybe the one thing that they'll take away that will feel the most powerful, the most poignant, you've got to be tighter in defence.
Yeah. No, 100%, and as you say, there is so much that they can learn from this game, and you can tell they are learning as they're playing. I'm not sure if that's coming from the coaches or the players themselves, but they're developing as the game is going on, and they're looking so strong now.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, I will give him a shout out because he is one of the nicest guys in touch. One of the coaches for this England side, Doug Benzie, below us, just imparting his wisdom, the over 2 decades of touch experience that he's got under his belt. Benzie, ex-men's Opens player, going all the way back in the day. Yes, we were doing a little bit of research a few days ago. You're more than welcome. But yeah, to have that knowledge in the sub-box, I think is so valuable. Sweeper set up here for Scotland, much better line. That's what we want to see from Scotland, receiving the ball on the sweeper square, diving at the line. You got to threaten that line first.
Yeah.
Hole 1 first, and then hole 2 and 3 comes over.
Yeah, 100%. It's just drawing that defence in and then stepping at the right time. So that was looking really, really likely for Scotland here.
32 Shaw, although splitter platform again is rescued. I do like the look of this splitter, but it's just not quite happened for Scotland. Fire up option. The right option, the absolute right option. That outline was perfect from Lewis Forge. He'd found just a yard of space. There was a 2-on-1, but the ball just couldn't quite find it.
Yeah, that was unlucky. A really committed effort for the link there as well to try and get to that, but not quite there for Scotland. But I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like a completely different team to the one in the first half. However, they just need to secure these little holes. That was much better defensive reading. Got to give a shout out to Shona White, who shut down that attacking threat, made a really good shot at link. I also think that England maybe got away with an illegal play of the ball. Don't think the foot was passed over the top of that ball there. So probably the right conclusion for that turnover, but Shona White with a great bit of defensive read, and I think that's the area that Scotland just need a little bit more of, but being a little bit more proactive in defence.
I think it's also just being a bit more adaptable, because we know that England are an unpredictable side and they will have you turning every which way. So it's just having that communication between you and knowing whose touch is whose and really making that clear, so you're there for both your own touches and somebody else's if need be.
Oh, it's a nice late pass. Again, getting in behind that initial defensive press is obviously where Scotland are trying to find all of their success. I just think England are such a tightly knitted unit when they find themselves in line defence. They're banking on Scotland having to do something perfect to score, and Scotland haven't been able to find that level of perfection consistently enough to really challenge for the result of this game. However, that is perfect, and that is diabolical again. And
everything about that went down to timing, in the passing, in the running your lines. That was beautiful from Scotland. Absolutely textbook. Lovely check back from Murdoch. It was just, yeah, they've not let up at all throughout this entire game, either squad. So that's really great to see.
I think it's quite telling as well that Murdoch was trapped in defence in the first half. That pod of George Murdoch was basically trapped in line defence trying to defend Rory Hawkins' quickie sets for the entirety of the first half. And I've noticed that these interchanges are a little bit more janky than they were as Hawkins gets over for another one.
Speak of the devil there.
But Murdoch it seems like he's sort of exclusively finding himself in attack now, and there's no wonder why.
No, he is an absolute weapon. He's got such a pill on him, and he's really good at reading play. Yeah, he's definitely, you can see why he's been selected as captain for the Scotland squad. He's an asset to the team. And someone who doesn't shy away from pressure. No.
You know, this game is a really tricky one to navigate. You know, 16-6 now in favour of England. And I mean, this English performance has just been magical from front to back. Superb. Testament to the players, the coaching staff, and everything about this performance. It's been really enjoyable to watch. But what's arguably been more enjoyable for me is watching George Murdoch just go, I don't really fancy losing this by a big deficit, actually. I want to get my scores on the board. I want to show my teammates and my coaches that this is a level that we should be competing at. And he has single-handedly put his hand up and just gone, this isn't happening on my watch, and we're going to change things.
And I bet that would have really motivated the rest of the squad as well, to see someone in that position performing so well and with such ferocity. They're going to want to do the same.
And I believe that's another score. Exactly what you were saying. You know, George Murdoch's leading and he's dragging the rest of his team with him. And the rest of his team are going, yes, sir. We will get scores on the board as well. It's a 9-try deficit now. I think for Scotland, that's probably the aim, is keep that deficit to single digits and not double digits. They're doing a good job of it so far.
They really are. And that was lovely honesty in defence there from the England side as well. It's what we always like to see with this sport. Knowing you didn't make the touch and making that quite clear to the refs.
Well, it's a game of honesty, isn't it?
It is.
It's got it's what this sport is absolutely built on. Oh, Rory Hawkins, dummied, lovely long rip, great left foot step. What a finish this will be if the refs want to give it. Oh, it's a heartbreak over on the far side.
Fantastic touch there from Lascelles for Scotland. That was really crucial, but what a take from the winger there.
Yeah, Rory Hawkins with a collector's item from Rory Hawkins, losing control of that ball on these quickie setups. But, you know, I said in the first half, I'm sure at some point we'll see the fire up. Well, we saw the fire up option skipping the link and going straight to the wing, almost working, using Rory Hawkins as a disguise rather than the actual threat. There's a lot to like about that England set.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're at a point now where they're so strong they'll be disappointed for a change of possession, but they shouldn't be. They should take away everything good from that. Yeah,
that is very true. As we get into the dying embers of this game, there'll be seconds remaining. England with a commanding lead. But they will want probably the 10-try deficit. They're one score away from it. 16-7 is the current score. Rory Hawkins just taking a settler. Steadying the ship for a moment. There's Hawkins. Trying to escape one touch, gets two people up in the touch, opens side quickie for Rory Hawkins. Again, just slowing the play down. Offside penalty.
Unlucky with the offside call there, but Scotland are really good at not allowing England the timings that they're looking for here.
Oh, Rory Hawkins with a nice right-handed long ball, late passes away. England want to finish with something spectacular. What a one-handed grab that was. But the final touch does come in, and that is full time. There's 16-7. This mixed 20s game finishes in favour of England. They are, I mean, that is some team, isn't it?
It really is, and it took a while for that game to get off its feet a little bit for Scotland particularly, but when it did, it was such a fantastic matchup. They were just showing like from like, and they were both really fired up. Yeah, but this England team is definitely looking threatening.
Yeah, they are different gravy at the moment. At the full time, England 16, Scotland 7. I'm going to take a very quick break. Go get some food on and probably just run for coffee for a lot of the cameramen. It's a hot old day. We're trying to do as much as we possibly can. But coming up for you next is mixed 18s, and Lexi will be taking you through that one. That is Belgium v Scotland. That'll be with you in about 5 minutes' time.